So Elon Musk was going to hire or something Don Lemon, do some content deal with him on X. And a lot of us were like, cringe. Don't hire Don Lemon. And I think Elon Musk realized what he walked into when he did an interview with Don Lemon and then was like, well, that was underwhelming. That sucked. Let's cancel this deal. Now, Don Lemon is trying to make it seem like he challenged Elon Musk and Musk couldn't handle the tough questions. I love how even Fox is reporting this. Elon Musk snaps at Don Lemon. Okay. You know what the big news is? They launched their third test of Starship, the heaviest space vehicle ever launched. It is one of the most important things humanity has ever done. And Elon Musk's work with SpaceX may be the most important work of this generation. And the reason I say not of humanity, despite the fact it's a tremendous leap, is that there have been many times in history when important things happened that weren't just this one singular thing. The most important thing for humanity could be like, I don't know, the invention of irrigation or something. But in my lifetime, the work that he's doing on SpaceX is the most important thing ever. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Elon Musk. There are very few people I'm actually a fan of, to be completely honest. But got to give it to him for SpaceX, if anything else. But I do tremendously respect the work he's doing on X, despite the fact I have been critical on, say, like the misgendering policy. So I do. I think outside of all the free speech stuff and all that, a lot of it is, to a certain degree, stamp collecting when it comes to the work of traveling the stars and colonizing other planets and developing new technologies. That being said, if we don't win the political battle, we don't go to the stars. And so it's very important that we actually do win these political battles. But the big news is that Don Lemon says his deal was canceled. Now, of course, the news came out yesterday, but we do have a clip from the interview that has been released that I think we should definitely play here. It aired on CNN, which I also find absolutely hilarious. CNN fires Don Lemon. Then Don Lemon goes on CNN and says, hey, look what Elon Musk was saying. Here's the reporting from Fox News. Musk snaps at Don Lemon over questions about hate speech on X. Don't have to answer questions from reporters. Dude, I'm gonna play the audio for you, my friends, and you're gonna be like, that's not snapping. That's literally him answering the question in a calm, but perhaps, I don't know, what's the right word? It wasn't like there wasn't a little bit of animosity. Terse. That's how I describe it. I was like, is that the word I'm thinking of? Here you go.
Hate speech on the platform is up. Do you believe that X and you have some responsibility to moderate hate speech on the platform? That you wouldn't have to answer these questions from reporters about the Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Democrats? I don't have to answer these questions. The Great Replacement Theory as it relates to Jewish people. Do you think that?
I don't have to answer questions from reporters. Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on the X platform and you asked for it.
Mm-hmm. He's not snapping at all. They really want to make this seem like Elon got offended by something Don Lemon did, so he fired him. When if you actually read into it, apparently the statement from X is basically that it was just not a good interview. It was like bad content.
Otherwise, I would not do this interview.
So you don't think, do you think that you wouldn't get in trouble or you wouldn't be criticized for these things?
I'm criticized constantly. I could care less.
It was a call. I just love how the media is so full of it. Don Lemon grasping at straws because he sucks. Look, Don Lemon sucks. Chris Cuomo sucks. Aaron Burnett sucks. Anderson Cooper, he's actually kind of okay, you know, C+. He's got some better stuff in his earlier career. Caitlin Collins, no good. Did I say her already? Cuomo, yeah. These people aren't good. They are generic people who for some reason get put on camera because they seem to be able to do the job of reading a prompter. When you actually want to make interesting content, you get nothing from the likes of Don Lemon. So what is Elon Musk actually going, what brain stimulation will possibly occur in a sit-down conversation with Don Lemon? Here's my assumption. Lemon sits down with Musk. He says some stupid questions, and Elon's going, what is this? These are generic, rudimentary questions that don't actually solve or advance the conversation in any way. So I've been asked personally to appear on many shows. I turned them down. Like Real Time with Bill Maher, for instance. Now, I've not been, and I stress this, no one from the actual show has ever reached out to me. People in the periphery of the show who are friends with them have asked me, hey, like, I want to get you on that show. Let me talk to them. No, I wouldn't go on that show because it wouldn't advance the conversation in any meaningful way. Bill Maher is woefully underinformed and unprepared for real conversations. Club Random, I would do. They turned us down when we reached out to them. We were trying to find a way to get Bill on our show because I think a general conversation with Bill could work. But in terms of his show, what do you get out of it? They're behind the curve. Their opinions are ill-informed, and it's just a detriment to the conversation. This is how I view Don Lemon. Elon probably sat down. Don asked a bunch of cookie-cutter level 1 surface layer questions. And Elon was probably like, I've answered all of this before. That's a year old. Is this what your show is going to be? I don't think we should do a deal with these guys. So they go on. Burnett asks him what happened. What happened? I don't know, he went on. As I said in my statement, I felt really good about the interview. Therein lies the big problem. You couldn't see it. I said to him as we were doing the interview, and it was intense moments, I think it's good that people see folks like you and I who have different worldviews come together and talk. As he says, have free speech. Apparently doesn't matter to Elon Musk. Because he's not paying you, dude? Come on. It's just for talking points for him or rhetoric. Because it doesn't seem to matter when it's about him. Questions about him from people like me. He concluded free speech is only important when someone you don't like, or I would say someone who doesn't have the same point of view, if they're allowed to speak freely and say their point of view. This is why, right here, Elon probably said no to Don Lemon. When he said it's just talking points for him, there he goes with the crackpot fake narrative. What are you talking about? Because he's not giving you money, you think he doesn't care about free speech? It's the stupidest thing imaginable. I think they go on to clarify here. Quote, Don was underwhelming, unprepared, and dull, the insider continued. Although Swisher claimed they clashed over questions about Musk's alleged drug use, the source claimed Lemon failed to ask any interesting or edgy questions. He didn't ask Musk about Amber Heard. Elon probably would have liked it. He was unpolished. He didn't have producers in his ear. Jeff Zucker used to be in his ear, and he would repeat back everything he was told. They said, noting that Lemon had only bare bones crew that included his fiancée. Another former CNN anchor, Brian Selter, who weighed into the argument on X, claimed a source told him the interview was like a bad first date. Lemon's appearance on his old network came after he released a scathing statement where he insisted he would still air the episode on March 18th, but on YouTube instead. Burnett went on to produce a clip from the interview. In it, Lemon is seen asking Musk, who was talking about the reins of his site formerly known as Twitter, as touted a desire for a platform with zero censorship, about hate speech and great replacement theory. Elon Musk has brought up the fact, straight up fact, that we don't count citizenship on the census. So congressional seats are apportioned based on total population, whether they're citizens or not. Democrats gain power from this, and they want to encourage it. This is not a theory. It is a stated fact of Democrat policy when people like Van Jones have gone on CNN and said this. And then CNN asks, befuddled and confused, that Elon would dare say such a thing. This is the game they play with Donald Trump. I loved this during the Trump administration. There'd be a news report and it would be like, France says they're going to raise taxes on the middle class. And then Trump would go to a rally and be like, and now you got this Macron, he wants to raise taxes and it's no good. You can't do it. And then the media would come out and be like, Trump falsely claims France will raise taxes. And I'd be sitting there being like, wait, what? I read that story from you. And then Trump repeats it at a rally because he read it on your platform. And then you came out the next day and claimed it was fake. They would do that all the time. This is what CNN is doing right here. They will have Van Jones on and other Democrats say things like immigration is good. And we have to recognize that the white majority will decline as we encourage more immigration. But ultimately, that's good for democracy. And then Elon Musk says, hey, they're saying they want to do this. And they go, nuh-uh, we never said that. That's a racist theory. That's what Don Lemon represents. So I can throw a little criticism towards Elon. Did you not see this coming? Elon's not a media guy, but I think he's starting to realize what the media represents when right now, I love this. The reporting is that SpaceX failed. Let me see if I can pull this up because this one's going mad viral. Let me pull up the news. Here we go. Let's see what we got. I don't know what it's going to say. I'm just going to read it. News about Starlink. I click news. SpaceX's Starship notches major flight test milestones, breaks up over Indian Ocean. Fair. Space.com. SpaceX launches giant Starship rocket into space on epic third test flight. Fair. Highlights from SpaceX Starship test flight. New York Times. Very fair. Well, right on. There was a bunch of news articles that were popping up saying that right afterwards that they lost the vessel, the main structure of it, because there's separation. I don't know how to describe it. And so I'm not seeing that now. So I can say, right on. That's good. Immediately after this happens, they say, like, SpaceX test flight lost. And they always do this. There was a SpaceX test flight where it blew up in midair, and all of the reports were like test explosion, failure, when the test itself was aborted and it was intentional. It was doing as intended. When you're testing the rocket, they want to get into orbit. They did. And they're like, okay, let's see if we can successfully land it. You're not going to get it on your first try. The media reports immediately like, oh, it failed. It's like, no, that was a success. We're trying to build a ship that can return. This is one of the coolest things ever, by the way. But my point is mostly this. Elon's been through this. And the more and more they lie about his projects, Tesla, the Tesla stock and everything, I think Elon starts to realize, even when you play ball, they come after you. Tesla, they keep lying about Tesla incessantly. And now they go after him to seize his money. Dude, I'll tell you about this one. That certainly wakes Elon up to what the news is doing. But I'll tell you about the Tesla stuff because I'm a Tesla shareholder. I've got a decent amount of Tesla shares. I do not have, I've got several hundred shares. And so some guy sues and takes Elon's pay package away. Now they're saying Tesla's going to drop. Of course, you're taking away the payment from the CEO, the guy who's leading the company. Look, man, I invest in this company under the assumption that Elon will succeed and wants to be rich and likes making money and is good at it. You attack the CEO in this way, you are hurting the company. I'm pissed about that whole thing. I think Elon Musk is, when it comes to knowledge of culture, news, I give him a C+. Right? He's paying attention more than most. He's recognizing things many people don't recognize. He's interacting with all of us, and he tends to try to do a good job. I think the man has honor. I feel bad when I come out and say, I'm pulling my ads because of the misgendering policy. And then he immediately responds saying like, I agree, we're going to fix this. I'm like, I kind of feel bad because, man, that's respect. Not that he's actually solving the problem in the immediate, but it's more than you get from almost anyone. So I have tremendous respect for that. You know, that being said, I don't expect him to know literally everything about everything. And so when he decides to hire Don Lemon and it's a mistake, well, there you go. Now they're going to lie about him once again and justify exactly why Don Lemon gets the boot. Say, Lovey, I think we're winning in the long run. This is a cultural victory, and I'm glad to see it. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.